Greetings to you, Crocoduck Army. I hope you're as hungry as I am because I want to talk about food, specifically vegetarianism. Discussions and debates about what kinds of food humans beings should or should not eat has been raging for millennia. There are lots of people who are very eager to tell you what to eat or not eat for numerous reasons. Since food is essential to life, certain types or styles of food have been central to cultures around the world. Numerous religions have declared certain foods off limits for various reasons, or at certain times of the year or times of the day, and cults go even a step further, frequently using food as a method of coercion. People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, or PETA for short, has employed a number of tactics to convince or coerce people into not using animal products at all. Some of these methods I would consider funny and harmless, but others not so much. Though I do approve of their frequent use of nudity for publicity. It's certainly true that the meat industries in the US do not always follow the standards that we set for them, and abuse of animals will definitely occur without proper oversight. Since food producers have a powerful lobby, and one of our two major political parties is dedicated to reducing regulations, this oversight can be much too lax. Videos of the abuse of sick and dying animals on factory farms are pretty heart-wrenching, and if this matters a lot to you, then I would recommend some combination of political activity, being more selective about what brands and types of foods you buy, and buying organic as much as you're able to and can afford. I can tell you from personal experience that adding organic milk to the grocery list alone can add a couple $100s to your yearly food bills, so just be aware that it's not cheap. Sometimes you can find pretty cool stuff in the organic section though, like purple carrots. I was going to take a bite of one on camera, but I didn't want to have a Rick Perry moment. There are a lot of arguments made about whether it's okay ethically to eat animals at all. People who eat meat say that we clearly evolved as omnivores, which is certainly true, but I think vegetarians are also correct in saying that this fact is not particularly enlightening to a question about whether we should eat them today when we have the choice. Those who say it's wrong in all cases tend to anthropomorphize animals and ask people questions like, well, how would you like it if humans were farmed for meat? I think there's an argument to be made here for the trait of sentience of an animal. If I thought chickens, left to their own devices, would form autonomous societies, then maybe I'd feel differently. We've developed the ability to farm life of all types in order to sustain ourselves, and I'm generally comfortable with that. I would like there to be as little cruelty as possible, but for those who say that killing an animal that exists at all only to make food for us is still a bad thing, I did hear some good news recently. We're almost to the point where we can grow chicken meat in a petri dish. There are certainly environmental costs to eating meat, but not all meat is equal in impact. Beef has the most environmental impact, and I've read that pound for pound, pork production has about a third the impact of beef production, and chicken and other poultry has about a fifth of the impact of beef. I eat red meat on average maybe a couple times a month, but most of the time when I have the option, I'll go for chicken or some kind of seafood, for both health and environmental reasons. I think there's a limited role for government here too, not in the form of a red meat tax or anything like that, but rather a shifting of subsidies that already exist, from less healthy to more healthy options. In fact, I would rather that liberals in the US spent more time on this than trying to convince people of nonsense like genetically modified foods being poisonous or that the fluoride in our water is bad for people. Before you ask, no, the benefits of GMO foods do not make Monsanto's actions ethical. From a health perspective, there's definitely such a thing as too much meat, no matter what your stance on the ethics of it. In case you hadn't noticed, cultures that eat a lot of meat and don't get a lot of physical activity tend to get very heavy, and tend to have many of the problems associated with obesity. There are a lot of documentaries and books out there about how going to a vegetarian or vegan diet will make you more healthy, but I often question their methodology. I saw one called Forks Over Knives, where they took some morbidly obese people who were eating ridiculous portions of red meat every day, put them on a vegan diet, and watched them get healthy. I don't doubt the results at all, but I'm rather certain that they could have made significant changes that still included meat and had the same result. There are some good reasons to cut some or even all meat out of your diet if you wish, but you can still include meat in your diet while remaining healthy and environmentally conscious, in my opinion. Now that that's settled, I have one final question for you. Does bacon really make everything better?